Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, I'm so happy to talk with
I'm
you.
so
Eric
happy
Rubel.
to talk. Susanne Wilson, thank you. We'll start by saying thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and Spirit Guides readers about you and your amazing new book that I just finished reading for the second time, and I'm still just blown away and in just happy spiritual land right now from reading it. So thank you so much for being here.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah. And yeah, I am excited to introduce you to my readers. You're one of the top mediums in the world. I've personally experienced your readings, and it's just the best thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm personally so excited.
Aw. Well,
So
I'm honored and I'm so excited to have this opportunity to say hey to your readers.
cool. Yes. So let's just start with, do you want to tell me, well, tell our readers a little bit about who you are, what you
Yeah.
do, and just a brief synopsis on Soul Smart, your new book.
Well, I'm a normal person just like anybody else. In fact, I did not want to be a medium. I'm a little bit of a reluctant medium because even though I knew that I had these gifts as a child, all I really wanted was to fit in, get an education, make money, buy lots of things, and be successful. And that's how I measured my worth. But spirit has a way of getting your attention, and about 10 years ago, I had anaphylaxis, which is a really severe allergic reaction where your throat closes down and you can stop breathing. And it was a near death experience. And after that, it was like I was constantly on and connected to the spirit world, just like when I was a child. And so I had to learn how to manage these abilities. And in doing that, I found out that this is really what I'm supposed to be here to do. I love being able to teach other people how to make their own connection with their own loved ones in the light, with their people, their pets, their spirit guides. And so that's what I've done full time. I walk away from a very easy life, a very traditional corporate type of career to do this woo-woo stuff. And now one of the things I really like to do is to find that next generation, the younger people coming in that are saying, wow, they're a lot more open-minded. I don't have to convince your generation of anything. They just like, show it to me. Let me hear more. And there's like this hunger to learn. So that's what I'm here for. I wrote the book Soul Smart, What the Dead Teach Us About Spirit Communication, to give people fresh, easy tips for how to make their own connection with their own spiritual teams, guides, angels, loved ones in the light. Anyone can do this. It's simple and it's life-changing.
Awesome. So it's really it's practical for everybody, not just a select few. And so
Yeah.
you say that everybody has the ability to connect to their spirit.
Well, yeah, everybody has the ability to connect with their own loved ones, beloved people and pets in the spirit world, their own spirit guides, their own angels. But I don't believe that everybody has the ability to connect with other people's spiritual team. I think that mediums are born, not made, and then we spend years developing ourselves and our abilities and really becoming the spiritual people and the leaders that we need to be able to help each other out. But there's no reason why I can't just go and take someone off the street who has an open mind and an open heart. There's no reason I can't teach them how to receive messages from their guides, how to connect with their grandma, invite in a dream visit. They love to visit us that way, or have a meditation visit with their loved ones. It really and truly is for anybody. You just need the open mind and the open heart.
Right. So, and have you, with all the techniques, there's so many practical techniques in the book, different ways to connect with loved ones and spirit guides and angels. And have you, from either your clients or your initial readers of the book, have you had success stories coming back to you?
The book's only been out for a few weeks, and already I have a whole bunch of emails from people, and some of them are saying, look, I invited the dream visit. I did the whole procedure like you showed me. I was really excited. I woke up in the morning and I'm like, wow, I didn't have the dream visit. But then right away, something else happened that afternoon. I had this sign from a hummingbird where it flew around my head a couple times. And I'm like, yeah, it's because once you start to reach out to the spirit world, it's like you're telling them, I'm ready for my light to shine more brightly. Come on in, you're welcome. Because, you know, they don't want to bother us. They don't want to scare us. But when you start reaching out, you start getting results. And so I have people that have direct results from the procedure that they followed. And I have people that just all of a sudden are having spontaneous things. Like I had a lady who told me, I've never been able to connect with my daughter, and she passed when she was a teenager. And I tried your connecting and meditation technique, and I didn't feel like I really connected with her. But an hour afterwards, I was getting ready for bed, and I felt my daughter come in and hug me. I could smell her fragrance, and it was her. And this is a lady who's tried for years to connect. So this stuff works.
Yeah. Well, and I have personally tried your dream visit instructions that you have written for spirit guides, and it was this sort of similar with me. Like there was these expectations that didn't happen, but then all of a sudden, whoop, there's my mom in a totally different experience, also a dream, but in a way, in a time I wasn't expecting. And then it was like, okay, I see. And I think it is, it takes a little bit of practice and persistence.
Yeah. Well, and here's the important point that I want your readers to know. Your loved ones in the light have to practice too.
Okay.
All right. So nobody from the other side gets a message through unless they get the help of those whose job it is on the other side to make the message come through. They will actually, just like I say in the book, they will actually go to these places. Some of them refer to them as halls of reunion, and say, look, I want to get a hold of my grandson. He's on Earth. I've been watching him. He really needs some cheering up because he misses me and he's had some struggles. And I just want to give him a sign that I'm right there and everything's okay. And so they have this conversation. Well, what do you want to do? Well, he always gave me a butterfly pin or a butterfly stationery. Butterfly's my thing. They're like, great, let's rehearse the butterfly thing. And they work on it. And so it's not instant for them. It takes a lot of energy for them to do it. In fact, with the birds and butterflies, a lot of what my friends in the dead community have shown me is they'll use it like a little remote control device on the other side, and they learn how to use it. And then they ask the little butterfly, may I make a soul-to-soul connection with you? They connect. They use the remote control to make the butterfly do the loop-de-loos or land on the grandson's head or whatever it may be. And then they say thank you. They disengage. Well, the reward for that insect that cooperated with that is the insect's like on a natural buzz, like on a high, like, whoa, I feel really good. You know, so it's like everybody wins with this.
That's a win-win situation. I had an experience with an owl with somebody who'd passed for me, and I always wondered how that happened. And when I was reading your book, I was like, wow, that makes total sense, and it's so specific. And that leads me to like what blew me away the most about the book, and you'd mentioned halls of reunion, was the specificity about what happens after we die. And so much of us in this earthly existence fear death or think it's painful, and you actually, I think at one line say it's graceful, it's pleasurable. So
well, I actually wanted to write that death was orgasmic, but I thought that might be a little too over the top for some of my readers. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, for my readers, I think they're gonna like that. So
right. And by the way, there is sex after death. That's a whole nother chapter. But you know, the actual dying, it's the death itself, though that moment of death is actually so pleasurable. It's impossible to recreate that pleasurable sensation of going out of the body. No one dies alone, even if they're in the physical world alone at the time that they die. There are angelic beings or ETs, you know, one person's angels, another person's ET, whatever you want to call them or label them. They actually will come in and help you slip the soul from the body, and the cord of light that tethers the soul to the body has been broken. You can't go back now, and everyone is met either by a loved one or a pet who is already there to say, come on in. And you must go right into the light when that happens. Don't mess around and say, no, I think I'm going to stay here. I want to get back in the body. Go right into the light, because nobody can force you into the light. You still have free will after death, but that's what happens. And then from there, it's a real adventure ride.
So you can still mess up your free will when you're dying with your free
will.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Now, what leads up to death, the sickness or illness or whatever, sure, that can be miserable, but death itself should never be feared.
Okay. And so then just continuing with that process, I know that in the book you say that many or most souls will go first to a hall of healing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, most souls really want to take a little rest. And especially if they have been ill, like if they've suffered with cancer or some kind of illness where they're really tired and run down, they'll get there and they really will rest. And if the soul is like shocked out of the body somehow, like a murder or some tragic accident that they didn't see coming, they may not even realize that they're dead for a little bit. And so that call of healing may then look like a really upscale hospital or med spa where you're going to go and heal and then eventually realize that you've passed. But it's just a really gentle process. You nap for as long as you need to nap. Somebody will wake you up in time to go and attend your funeral because everybody wants to attend their last earthly party. But from there, it just depends, are you ready to go to your welcome home party? You might have a quick orientation, a quick life review in an orientation room there in the hall. But you know what? There's generations of loved ones, some you haven't even met that are dying to meet you, no pun intended. So there's a party. There's a party.
Yeah. So it's funny on that note, when I was reading that part of your book, my mom, when she was passing away a couple days before her death, she kept talking. We all thought kind of loopy, but she kept talking about, they all want me to dance to Elvis. I can't dance to this. My body can't dance to Elvis.
Yes.
And kept talking about this big party and they wanted her to dance to Elvis. And we thought she was just cuckoo. But when I was reading that, it was like, oh my gosh, she was probably just having a party on the other side and kind of in between.
Right. She was having what we call deathbed visions, where you might see the loved one a few days before it's your time to pass. And of course they were, saying, yeah, we got a really awesome party lined up for you. So, I mean, it's very comforting to the soul when you're getting ready to go and you can see you got something great waiting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's good news that most people go to their funeral, and because everybody wonders that if the spirits. Right. Yeah. Cool. And then it's on to the halls of reunion, right?
Yeah, that's where the partying happens. And orientation and life review, most people like to have a really quick one first and then get to the party and then come back later and start reviewing their lives. And it's really not like a scary, bad, evil thing to look back at your life. It's not like somebody's judging or saying, oh, look at that day, look at what you did. It's like you feel all at once the impact of every thought, word, and action that you've had on earth, and you will see where you succeeded, where you had kindness and compassion for yourself and others, where you forgave, and where you didn't, or where you came up short. But it's really not meant as judgment or punishment. It's intended to be, let's help you grow. Let's show you what you did well. And your most celebrated achievements are going to be all the compassion and forgiveness that you gave and received when you're on earth. I mean, it's kind of like the payoff for all of the that we go through in this world, because earth is really, it's a rough place. And it's like a roller coaster ride here, then we go there, and it's just like you start to realize why you suffered. You get the bigger perspective and you realize that all the disappointments and pain and sorrow had a purpose, and you can really feel good about yourself as a soul.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know that we're not being judged, because everybody kind of wonders that, like, do you go into the afterlife and then you're automatically judged, this, that, and other thing. So
yeah, judgment just isn't necessary, because the energy that you have, that you've created through your life, will carry you to the dimension where you need to be. So if somebody's like, I don't know, like a serial killer or something like that, they're not going to be mixed in with us basically nice, normal people. They're going to be, their energy takes them where they need to be. But even then, it's never a hopeless situation for anyone, because there are always beings of light that want to help people grow and go to higher and more beautiful and amazing dimensions.
On that note, can you speak to a little bit about the lower realms, and if there's any concern for that in the afterlife? Or
yeah, I do talk a little bit about that in the book, because I felt like it shouldn't be ignored. But I will say where all this information is coming from are my trusted guides and my trusted friends in the dead community. And what I mean is, over the last several years, I've been doing interviews and making notes. And if I meet a soul who comes in for a reading and they're giving great evidence, and we develop like a rapport, and I can get information from them, and then I can correlate that with, okay, my team has said the same thing, my angel has said the same thing, okay, this is the way it is. And then I can look at afterlife research. We have 200 years of afterlife research. This isn't anything new. And you know, you start to see consistency in how people describe things. So one of the things that I asked every guide and friend to tell me is there a hell? And so, you know, it's funny because I felt like a lot of times they were sort of like fudging, like saying, well, not a hell as you know it. No, there is no one discrete individual soul called Satan and all that sort of thing. I'm like, look, guys, just, you know, lay it on me. You know, let me have it. What's it really like? And they're like, well, there are places that would be considered hellish, but you really have to do some pretty bad things to end up there. And what the souls usually call it is the lower realms or the lowers. And there is an entity that I've learned about called a collector that collects souls and feeds the fear and anger and really wants to keep the souls in the lower level. But at the same time, the power of love is so much bigger. There are souls that will go out with angels, warrior angels of light, and they will travel to these lower realms and see if there's a soul, any soul who wants to grow to a higher realm and help them. And most of the time, what they have to help them with is forgiving themselves, releasing shame, releasing fear. So, you know, it's not hopeless even after death. It's not hopeless. Nobody's condemned, and that's where you're going to be. But my message is, why not live by the golden rule now and be as kind to others, people and animals, as you want them to be kind to you, so you don't have to work on this stuff later. And again, you know, most people, ordinary average people that mainly do their best, will never even go to the lowers unless we get over there and we want to be part of rescue missions.
Right. Okay, on a lighter note, how about pets? You keep talking about pets, and I know it's a big theme in your book, which I love.
I was just thinking, we just talked about lower realms. We should watch, like, you know, some funny YouTube video right about now for a minute. But no, I don't want people to think about that, because that's not about you. Right. Let's talk about the animals. That's a great point, because people have been told animals don't have souls, so they're not going to be in heaven. And my granddad was a Presbyterian minister, and I spent a lot of time with him as a kid. In fact, he was the one person who really let me know that it's okay to have these gifts, because he had them too. He said, yeah, but shh, keep it quiet because people think you're crazy. But he really nourished my soul, and he left for the other side when I was 14. We were in church one day, and one of the parishioners came up to him and said, Reverend, I have a really important question for you, and it's just been eating me alive. His dog had passed, and he said, doesn't the Bible say that animals don't have souls, so they can't go to heaven? And there were parishioners listening to this, and I'm like, okay, my granddad's got this. And he said, well, let me ask you a question. Would it be heaven if when you got there, your dog wasn't there? And I remember the guy smiled, he was beaming. Well, it's true, because our pets are dogs, cats, horses, ferrets, snakes, whatever they are here as healers and helpers to us when they're on the earth. And if you ever think back with your relationship with a pet, they entered your life at a certain time that was just right. They left your life at a certain time that was just right. And the pets on the other side are whole, healthy, happy, and they're like just like the people are. They're their youngest and best version of themselves.
Well, that is great news. And you had mentioned in your book that when you are in the process of transitioning, you can ask for a loved one, including a pet, to greet you, correct?
That's right. You can absolutely do that. You do not have to do that, but isn't it nice to have that option?
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's like, which pet? Can I have them all come?
Yeah, absolutely. You can.
So when you are doing readings, do you have animals come through sometimes?
Yeah, they do. And I don't think of myself as a pet communicator per se, but animals are, they have no baggage, they have no agenda. They're just pure love. And I can connect with both the living animals. I will make like a soul to soul, heart to heart connection with them, and the animals that are in the dead community. And what I have found is it's really interesting because I have found animals, like the other day I had a horse that came in first and came galloping in, this beautiful horse, and all of the light seemed to follow that horse that was coming in. And I realized this animal is holding the energy for all these people's loved ones to come in one by one, because that connection between the person and the horse is so strong. So, they're healing us and helping us here. They're healing us and helping us from there.
Wow. They're the perfect thing.
Yeah.
I know you're a big animal lover, and so am I, so.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, there were times as a kid where it was like only my dog or my cat really got me, because I just didn't fit in with other kids. I was really, really weird. I was the different one.
I understand that completely. My dogs are my best friends, so that's great.
Now they're my kids.
Yeah, they are my kids. So switching gears a little bit, you talked about briefly in the book a little bit, kind of the veil between the two worlds sort of thinning, and that like you've received information about in the not so distant future, some sort like the technology increasing that as far as communication between the two worlds. Can you talk a little bit about that?
We actually are on the cusp of the entire universe changing. Our culture, our thoughts about our eternal lives, because of the fact that we are about to have real technology, a phone to the other side. We have Dr. Gary Schwartz working on his soul phone, and the soul phone is about 2 years out from being able to text with the other side. It's been in development for a very long time, and I've been really privileged to be one of his advisory board members helping with experiments with that. We have in Brazil, we have Sonia Rinaldi, who has been working many years to receive not just audio, voice messages through a computer, but also now visuals, where images are being imprinted on a computer screen from loved ones from the other side. And then we have Craig Hogan in the Chicago, Illinois area, who has a group who's working on what they're calling the North American Station, which is an energetic connection that will get us the English speaking souls on the other side. Sonia seems to get only the Portuguese speaking souls. And the cool thing about this is all of these people are going to be at a conference that's coming up that you're going to be at as a speaker on a panel this September, the AREI Afterlife Conference in Scottsdale. So there's going to be a lot of information come from that.
You want to talk a little bit about that for a minute? I'd love to. That's coming up. So yeah, September 15th, correct?
It's September 15th through 17th. The website is afterlifeinstitute.org, or you can go to my website, carefreemedium.com, and I have links there too. And we'd really like to get more millennials to come to this conference. I was joking with somebody the other day on an interview, and I said, it's like we get together each year and we have this great turnout, and we're expecting like 500, but I look around, it's like it's a bunch of old farts. And and I put myself in that category, okay? But we really want to see more younger people come and see what is the cutting edge afterlife research, what methods people are using, because you all can be doing this right now. You can find out the best practices for getting electronic voice phenomena, EVPs from the other side, the safe and respectful way to do that. You can find all kinds of guided afterlife connections. You can figure out who are your guides and your angels now. And I find that people of your generation are so much more open to this, and because of that, they don't have to overcome a lot of religious dogma those kinds of blocks and things. And I don't even debate people with religion. But we're here for you. And we're also wanting you guys to, at some point in the next 20 years, take over, because we're all going to go home,
And you guys have a millennial panel on.
We have a millennial panel, and you are our media person on that panel, which we're so honored, because we know that you're really busy and you're globe-trotting all over the world. So we're so honored that you'll do that, because we really want to know, what is this generation asking? What kinds of questions? What is your inquiry into the afterlife research, what it's like when we die, where we go, what we do, and the communication between the worlds, and how can we assist and support you guys?
I am so honored as well. I just cannot wait to meet the other participants on the millennial panel.
Yeah, what is it you said the other day? It was so funny, because you said, yeah, I'm the only like non-medium on the panel, but you said you're the medium to the mediums. Because it is a media. Things are happening, even though it seems like it takes a really long time to develop things like the soul phone and those sorts of things. Information is being shared globally, and it's being shared really, really fast. And there are really amazing, like next level technology, cutting edge stuff. And we also need to have, we need help. We need people to come in and experiment with us and be open-minded and try new stuff.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get some people on here listening coming, because I know we have a ton of, there's just, like you said, like you don't have to go through the barriers with our generation and everybody. There's so many people that are just receptive to this and hungry for it, very hungry for it, and want to learn with practice mediums, and want to learn what's next and how we can help, raise the consciousness of the world. It's huge right now in my
generation. It is. And your generation also seems to just, it's like you're born knowing certain things that my generation and those older than me had to figure out the hard way. It's like, you're spiritual beings, that there should be no gender or cultural or race barriers. Love is love. And your frequency, your vibration, meaning the where your souls are, I think is so much higher than where a lot of us, my generation, where we started out. That you are our new researchers, you are our new technology inventors, you are our new spiritual teachers, and we want to give you a leg up before we go home.
All right, well, this is a great collaboration, because I think that'll be awesome.
It will be. And we expect over 500, and the way that the sales are going right now, we will exceed that.
That's incredible. And there's so many people on the lineup, and the presenters and the speakers that are just top notch, and people you've read books from, and I'm just thrilled to go, and I hope that everybody that sees this goes, because
and I'm sure a lot of your subscribers love George Noory on Coast to Coast and his Beyond Belief TV show, which I've been on, and I'm hoping to do Coast to Coast with this book pretty soon. I've heard about an invitation coming, and George is great at interviewing people and getting information out of them that they didn't even know that they had. And he, in addition to speaking, is going to interview some of the top world experts in afterlife research, end of life, reincarnation, all of this. So it's going to be fun and entertaining too. It's not going to be all like scientific and dry and all that. And there'll be things that you can experience in a workshop too while you're there.
Awesome. All right, well, let's talk about spirit guides, because that is the name of our publication. So in tribute to that, I think one of the first sentences in your spirit guides chapter was that spirit guides are the unsung heroes of the spirit.
Yeah, indeed. Just think how many people never say hello to their spirit guide, never say thank you to their spirit guide. They need us and we need them. I mean, I think it's obvious that we benefit from spirit guides giving us signs, symbols, synchronicities, pointing us in directions behind the scenes, but they also need us because of the fact that without us, maybe they might not have a job, but they're trying to grow in their servant leadership abilities in being of service. And that's what it's all about. And they work so hard, like to get you to look at the clock and see 333 at just the right time, or, you know, to make sure you miss that job interview because that job is not the one for you. They got something better lined up. And, you know, if nothing else, if you just, when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed at night, if you're saying prayers or affirmations, say, thank you, spirit guides. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. Because, yeah, they don't get a lot of credit.
So who are these spirit guides? Are they people that have been humans before? Or have they never been humans? Like, what is a spirit guide exactly from your understanding?
Well, the spirit guides, most of the time they've lived many human lives, and that's how they amassed their expertise, is because they've been there and done that a few times. But not all of their lives have to have been from here. They could have been from, let's say, Pleiades, or perhaps Arcturus, or other dimensions, which we in our limited thinking might think of them as planets or stars or things like this. They're really interdimensional beings. So they got that expertise from the lives. They've made all the mistakes that we've made. They've learned, but they're ahead of us and they can help us, and they're attracted to us because they're of like vibe. Now, people will ask me, well, a really common question is, can my grandparent be my guide, or can my cat be a guide for me? And yeah, sure, loved ones that we've known in this life can be helper guides to us, and they will do whatever they can to support us on our path. But overall, spirit guide is like a real job. When a soul decides, I want to help another soul on earth, they will go to a council of guides and make an application, or somebody will nominate them and say, you know, this is the work that is right for you. And they learn on the job with us. You attract the guide that is like vibing with where you are in your life right now. So there's one main spirit guide or master spirit guide that's with you from birth to death, and they've got the big picture. Then other guides are going to come and go as subject matter experts when you need them. Relationship guides, healing guides, and things like that.
So your master guide is your main person, or your main guide.
Yeah, it's sort of almost like the supervisor of the team and has the big picture. They're also intimately familiar with all of your past lives, how you've succeeded, where you've come up short, and then the master plan, like the blueprint that you laid out as a soul in your pre-birth planning before you came to the earth. Now, you forget all about that when you get here. You forget, yeah, I'm going to have 2 marriages and 1 divorce, and I'm going to get a bachelor's degree in this or that, and I need to learn self-love, so let's write that down. You forget all the stuff that you planned. And why? Because if the teacher gave you the answers to the test questions, how would you ever learn? So you're going to get the experiences here that are important for your soul's growth. If you start to go off the path, that's when guides will come in and try to get your attention and redirect you. But it's important to note that the guides, they're not going to tell you what to do. They're never going to take over your body and control you. And they're not going to tell you that you're about to F up if you've already made a decision and you're already in the course of exercising your free will. But if you check in with them before and you're attuned to them through prayer and meditation, you'll get your signs, symbols, synchronicities, gut instincts. I just feel it in my gut. And the guides are helping to give those to you before you make the decision. So our working for us can be easy for them. Working for us can be hard for them, but we're all benefiting. And they're not going to prevent us from making mistakes if that mistake is in the service of our soul's growth, or if that mistake is something we didn't tune in first and ask about it, and now we're in the course of it, because they don't interfere with free will. So is it perfect? No, life isn't meant to be perfect here. It's meant to be a classroom. Love, forgive, honor who you are as a soul.
And the takeaway there, I think, is tune in. Make it a point to tune in with your
Make it
guides.
a point to tune in. I mean, you can make so many better life choices if you honor your inner voice. Now, people will say to me, yeah, so I just had this really strong gut feeling, Susanne, I need to know where it came from. Was it this guide or that guide or da? I'm like, why do you need to know where it came from? It was a strong inner voice, and you paid attention to it, and it worked out really well. So my argument is we are our own spirit guides too, because we have a higher self. It's that part of us, that part of our soul that's always connected with where we're from home, the other side. So that part of us is working with the team too. It's all spirit, your spirit. It's not important to know which guide gave what. It's important to tune in and pay attention and to know what yes feels like. Yes, this is my choice. This is what I should do. I feel good. I got a warm, happy, uplift feeling. Or if you're thinking about something you're about to do and you get that wah, wah, down feeling, pay attention to that, because that's your higher self. That's your team too. I mean, how many times have you known you're making a mistake, but you went forward anyway, because that's what I was planning and that's what I was going to do, and then you regret it later. So just pay attention to how it feels in the body.
Great. All right, a couple more for you. So when I had a reading with you, the what you called the unity energy came through, and it seemed to be a pretty magical experience. Can you talk a little bit about what your understanding of what you call the unity is?
Yeah, the unity. When I was a little girl hanging out with my grandfather, the preacher, on Saturday mornings, he would sit in his study and he would wait. And he was getting ready to write his sermon for Sunday. The study would fill up with this brighter than bright white light. And then my grandfather would start writing furiously, like he could barely just get down every word, and that was his sermon. So on Sunday, as a child, I would look at him in the pulpit and I'd see all this white light around him, and I just thought that, oh, well, every minister has, this is what happens when ministers go up and preach. There's a big white light around them. Well, over time, I came to learn that that white light represented a collective consciousness of higher level beings, and I didn't really have a name for them. After he died when I was 14, I didn't see the light for a long time, and then I started seeing it. And then 10 years ago, after the near-death experience, the light started to speak. And they said that they're not just one voice, but thousands of voices. And I asked, what can I call you? The unity. Their whole mission is to help those on the earth who want to save the earth and want to nurture humankind. And anyone out there hearing this, if the things that you are doing in your life, if where you're putting your energies includes helping to save this world, helping to spread love and compassion, and assisting your fellow humankind and the animals around you, the unity works with you. When we're not doing those things, they pull their energy away and they go work with somebody else. They can be so many places at once. It's like the Godhead. It's the essence of all that is good, pure love. There is no higher vibration. And recently they've started to speak through me at different times. And it's something that's really new for me. And I'm just going to see where it goes. But how wonderful to know that we have so much help out there and love and support.
Yeah. And just, I remember seeing when they came through, like the look on your face was just completely blissed out.
Yeah. And that's the feeling. That's the feeling of, we lose sight of the fact that no one is loved more than you. No one is loved more than me, the creator and the unity and all these loving beings. They don't play favorites. Sure, they'll work harder and give more energy and align them to help us get to help us get certain things done. Miracles can happen if that miracle is in the service of the growth of someone's soul or humanity. But even if they're not working with us and helping with us at some moment, they love us no matter what. They love even the least of these, even the dregs of humanity, even the ones that, are, preying on humankind here. We're all loved equally. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like we're all loved equally. We all have equal potential to grow as souls. We just have to stay in the light.
All right, so finally, knowing what you know about death, what would you say the dead community, which you say they're okay with being called the dead,
Yeah.
correct? So is there what would you say the dead community would say that we should know or is most important for us to know about life, about here on earth?
Have no regrets at death and try to die well. So having no regrets means if there's something you really want to do while you're here in the physical world, in your body, and it's meaningful to you, it's an expression of who you are as a soul, whether it's your art, your music, your writing, something that really resonates with you, even if it doesn't pay you money, do it. Do it while you're here. I have never had a soul come in from the dead community and say, oh my God, I wish I had sat in that office and worked more. No. They wish they'd written their book of poetry. They wish they told everyone they love them. So try to have no regrets. And that's living by the golden rule, but also honoring who you are as a soul. The sooner you do it, the better. The other thing is to die well. And dying well means to try to be in a Zen state. Even if you're in pain at the time of death, is to just let go and to not die in fear. Now, if somebody's attacking you and trying to murder you, yeah, you got to fight back, of course. But at that moment where you know this is it, and you either hear the music or you see that beloved person or pet coming for you, you're going to arrive there in whatever state you leave here. And it's nicer to show up in the hall of reunion or the hall of healing in whichever place you go to first, to show up in a I'm grateful state. I'm grateful. Remember that your life it's a cumulative life. You are not any one thing that you've ever done or you've ever been. You are all of the essence of all of your thoughts, your words, your actions. You are pure love. So try to be in that state when you arrive of I'm grateful, and do your best when you're here, and don't deny who you are. You will have no regrets.
Man, I love hearing that, because it's a really good feeling coming into your own authenticity, and I think that's a major pillar of spirit guides. So I love hearing that. Yes, we're doing it right.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. And magazines like Spirit Guides, they're helping people to realize and remember what they already know. Robert Monroe said, there are no teachers, there are no students, there's only remembering. So, I applaud your work, what you're doing. You're helping to put information out there for people that help them remember that we're souls here, that we're all here to support each other, and that the world is a really tough place, but you can always find inner peace. You just have to make inner peace a priority.
Agreed. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Susanne Wilson, to have this interview with us. It's meant a lot, and it's been very insightful, and I know that everyone's going to love it.
Oh, I am honored. Thank you so much.
And so everyone can find your book right now on Amazon, correct? It's Soul Smart, What the Dead Teach Us About Spirit Communication. It's on Amazon now. And Susanne has been kind enough that she's going to hook us up with a free chapter from her book, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to have that. We'll have information on that and this article that we together. So I give people a taste of this again. I recommend it 5 stars on Amazon, reviewing it today. So.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Susanne.
It's my pleasure. Namaste.
Thanks.